Are you ready to learn some fingerstyle? Hey, what's up guys? Today I wanted to talk about fingerstyle playing, specifically for beginners. So if you've never played any kind of fingerstyle guitar, then hopefully this will be helpful for you. So first I want to go over just some basic right hand techniques because we want to get that down and understand that before we actually start playing. The typical position, hand position for your right hand is going to basically be your thumb on whatever the root note or the bass note of the chord is, and then your index, middle, and ring finger on the strings after that. So we're going to use the D chord as an example. So if I grab a D chord, I want my thumb to be on the D string on that bass note, and that's going to place my index on the G string, my middle finger on the B string, and my ring finger on the E string. So just on the strings below it. So then I have all the top four of these strings. So that's going to be my hand placement. Now a big thing to remember when using your fingers instead of a pick is to sweep your finger across the string rather than pulling up or plucking the string. We just want a nice constant motion across the string like this. And then same with the thumb. You don't want to pluck up on the string, you just want to go right across it. If you pluck, it kind of does this thing. You can get really slappy sounding and we don't want that. So we're going to start off really simple before we even grab a chord and get into your right hand position as if you were playing a D chord. So put your thumb on your D and then the fingers below that. And we're just going to do one string at a time, one finger at a time, and play 4 or so notes on each string just to get used to that finger motion. So that's just a little exercise to help you get used to that finger motion, and you just want to focus on sweeping across the string as you work on that rather than plucking the strings. So now that you feel a little bit more comfortable with that right hand technique, we're going to grab a D chord and we're just going to do a very simple right hand pattern. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Get into your right hand position. So my thumb is on the D string because that's going to be our root note. And we're just going to play each string once. So thumb, index, middle, ring. And as we're doing this, keep in mind that right hand technique as we go, just so that becomes more comfortable and you're more aware of it, that we're sweeping across the strings instead of plucking up on them. Now if you need to do this extra slow, to get it to work, then by all means take it very slow. There's no need to try to rush through this or speed through it. So if you need to go really slow to make this work and to feel correct with your technique, then take it super slow. So that's a really simple right hand pattern. The next pattern I want to show you is actually a super common one and will be used quite often. And basically you're just going to kind of alternate between, you're going to go thumb, middle, index, ring, thumb, middle, index, ring, but still on that same position. So thumb on the D string, and when that feels more comfortable and natural, you can kind of speed that up to have a little bit more of a feel to it. And once again, if that pattern is kind of confusing or hard to understand, then just take it slow. Now when you get comfortable with that pattern, let's try throwing in another chord. So instead of just staying on our D chord, we're going to switch to a G chord. And our right hand is going to stay basically in the same position, except we're going to move our thumb to the bass note. So as I switch from a D, where I'm playing this D bass note, and I switch to a G, I'm going to want to pluck the G string as my bass note. And then my top 3 fingers are going to stay the same for this pattern. So we have the D and the G. So let's just take that super simple to start and switch from a D to a G. So as you can see, your right hand is basically doing the same thing. The only difference is your thumb is moving with the bass note, but your index, middle, ring still in the same spot doing the same thing. So let's take that second pattern that we learned, thumb, middle, index, ring, and switch between a D and a G chord with that pattern. All right, so if you're feeling good with that so far, I'll take it one step further and I'll show you another super common pattern. And this is a little bit more tricky for someone just starting out, but if you're feeling good, then let's try it. So we're still gonna take our D and G chord. I'll just show you on the D chord to start. The pattern is thumb, middle, index, thumb, ring, middle, index, middle, which sounds confusing, so I'll just show it to you. Now, of course, we're gonna do the same thing switching chords, so let's switch from a D to a G, and again, the only thing that's changing is where our thumb is gonna hit that bass note. So there you go. If you're able to do that already, then congratulations. That's quite impressive for someone who's never played fingerstyle before. If you can't play that, then no worries. Stick to those more basic fingerstyle patterns that I showed you and take it slow. You don't have to worry about trying to rush through this. You want to make sure that you get that technique down, and that's going to help you in the long run as you continue playing fingerstyle. And as I typically remind you, don't be afraid to use a metronome with this exercise, especially since there's a lot of timing things going on with your right hand. A metronome could be super handy, and to keep you from wanting to rush and go too fast, which is really common with trying to do this, a metronome will kind of keep you grounded. So throw that metronome on at a nice steady pace, something that feels comfortable and good for you as you learn, and get it down before you try to speed it up. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you've been dying to learn fingerstyle guitar, hopefully now you know how. And this is the very basics, and we can get more into this later, but that's going to be a great start for you. So if it was helpful, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you next time.